Hey, what's going on everybody? Mozzie Hobbyist in the house, aka Skux FPV. If you've got one of these cars, the Xinlehong 9115 Challenger, and you're having some sound issues or there's a whole lot of noise coming out of there, well, we're going to do a breakdown of the car today and we're going to try and get rid of that noise for you. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it. Transmitter in my hand and I'm about to pull the trigger. So you get a whole lot of noise coming from in there, and the car wants to move, but it can't move. I believe it can be one of three things. So the first thing I believe it can be, the first thing I'll double check before I even start pulling the car apart, is the hex pin. What do I mean by that? The hex pin looks like that. See that little pin in my finger? So that's called the hex pin. Where does that sit? You're probably wondering. So that actually sits on this hex right here. Okay, so you've got your axle here. And if I spin it around, see that little hole there you can see? Let me go out. See the little hole? Okay, that's where the pin sits. So if I spin this around, can you see? Actually, it's better if I take this out. So see that little groove there? Okay, so that's where the pin sits. So if I put that back in there, I'll grab that pin. Okay, usually how this pops out is the wheel can come loose. Okay, so you got your 4mm nut sitting there. What happens is that 4mm nut can come loose, just by jumping, going fast, doing backflips, all that sort of jazz. And when that becomes loose, then this becomes loose. And what happens is, I'll just put this pin in here. Put the pin in there. I'll lock it into place. Okay, just line it up. Lock it into place, push it down so it's disappeared. There you go, right in there. Okay, so what happens is the 4mm nut actually comes off, loosens, and then the wheel becomes loose as well, causing this to sort of like jump out like that. And it only really needs to be that loose for that pin to drop out. So once that pin's in there, so I'm going to hold that firmly, and then I'm going to turn it. So I'm trying to hold that into place, but it's not happening because that pin's in there. So without that pin, so I'll drop it out. So I'm holding that nice and firmly. So when I spin the axle, see how it's just staying there? So I believe that's what's happening in there too, because the wheels are not spinning, because there's no hex pin in there. Okay, so the second thing I think it is the external gears of the diff. So this is the diff. So when I say external gears, I mean these gears here. See those teeth there? So if I spin it around, okay, so this is a good diff. That's what it should look like, okay? Half the times when you take these things apart, you only get half of that tooth there. So what's happening is when they're stripped, it's not biting against the other gear. So it's not, attached. It's not going to move anywhere, okay? If it's not the external gears, like you could look at it and go, oh yeah, it looks pretty good. It's the internal gears of the diff. Okay, the internal gears inside here. Okay, how you can tell that is if I hold this firmly and then I spin it. So I'm trying to hold it as tight as I can, but I can't because it's spinning. Okay, so this is a lock diff, so it's going to go the same way when I spin it. Okay, you'd know if it was the diff, the internal gears, is if you hold it like I'm holding it here. So if I spin this side here, this one will keep still, and that's how you know it's the internal gear. So I believe that's what it is as well. So those are the three things I think it is. So the external gears, the internal gears, and the hex pin which sits behind the hex here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these wheels off now, and then we're going to check that out. So I'll grab my tool here, get that in the picture. So I'm going to undo this, put that aside, take the wheel off. Okay, put that over there. I'm going to pull this closer so you can see. So if I pull this off, so yep, so just as I thought. Okay, so see that hole there? So this is the axle I was talking about. Okay, so if I was to put one of these pins in the air, I actually grabbed the pin that I dropped. So if I put that in there, come on, get in there. Just like so. See, I pushed it through there. And then I'll grab this hex So see the little groove in the hex there? So I'll push that down, lock it into place, lock it, no, yeah. It's quite fiddly sometimes, but you'll get it, like now. Alright, so there we go. So I locked it into place. So that's spinning now. So I'll put that wheel back on. And if I'm correct too, I think the other side should be exactly the same as well. Grab my tool. Right, let's grab the other side. Let's spin this around. Grab the other side. Take that out. Right, there goes the hex there. So that's alright. Sometimes when you pull it off the wheel off, the hex stays in there. Totally fine. And yet there goes our other problem there as well. So if I grab another pin, let's grab me another pin. Then if I'm correct, it should drive after this. So find our hole there. So if we put our pin through the hole, there we go, just like that. Then we need to line up the wheel. You can take that out if you want to, but I'm just going to try and line that up just like that. I think that's in. Yep, that's in. Alright, grab this. So this is why you check these hex pins first, because if you start pulling the car apart and you believe it's the diff, and then you get inside the diff and it's not the diff, well, you just wasted probably about an hour. Okay, so I'm just going to put that down there in front of us, put that out of the way, grab my controller because it fell on the floor. Right, I'm just going to pull the trigger ever so slowly. Well, I think Houston, we have a problem. So I think it's internal as well. So we're going to have to pull the car up to bits and have a look at the back. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'll go set up and then I'll be back. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is remove all four wheels. This will give me access to all the screws that I need to get to, and it will stop it from moving around. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay, while I'm doing this, you did notice in the beginning of the video, when I get this off, that I had two cars. That is correct, I did have two cars. So one was this one here, the issue of it not spinning. So we've since realized that it wasn't the pins, it was maybe the diff. So we've got to get in there and have a look at it. So removing four wheels, and the other car. Okay, so I can't get that one out either. So there must be a pin missing out of that one too. Actually, there is. Oh yeah, there is a pin in there too. So we're just gonna. So the easiest way to get that out is. There is no easy way to get that out actually, unless you jam something down here. So let me get some pliers. So what's happening is I'm trying to get that out, but it just keeps spinning. So what's happening is the pin out of that behind that hex is gone as well. So in order to get that off, you pretty much have to jam the hex behind it somehow. So I'm just going to put this down in here. Can't seem to do that. So. Alright, jam that in there. Hopefully I'll jam that. Nope. Nope. So there's a pin here. Sorry, a pin missing from behind there as well. I think I'm going to have to jam something up in here. Hopefully it's jammed it. push against that. Yeah, there we go. Cool, finally. So yeah, so he's missing the pin there. So a lot of pins missing from this car. Must have had a lot of crashes. So, alright, so what I like to do actually is take the pins out. So I'm going to remove these hexes here. And I'm going to take the pins out. Okay, the reason why I'm doing it is because when you're, you know, tossing and turning the car, the pins fall out, and when they go onto the floor, you could never find them again. So take those pins out, so put them over there. Nice little handy tip too, actually. I'm going to grab one of these. Is these little magnetic bowls there. So usually I put them in there so I don't lose anything. Put them in there. That one. Let's put those in there as well. And you sort of want to make a nice tidy bench, you know, when you're putting all your things, taking things off, you want to put them in a nice little area just so it just makes it nice and clean for you, so you can find everything. Cool. And so all the pins are out, so that one's out, that one's out. Cool. So I'll put that on over there. Okay, so what we've got to do now is we've got to take out all these screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all the screws on the top here, and then when you spin them around the side, you want to remove these here as well, because you can't just take off these screws here and lift that up, because this here shock tower is connected to this top plate. So without taking that off, you won't be able to get that off. So let me grab my little tool. Okay, so let's take this one off here. Actually, I might be wrong on this one. I think you can just take off this top plate, but you still need to access all this other area to get at the differential, the diff. Put that over there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll take that off. Hopefully it comes off. It's been a while since I've pulled this apart. This should just come, yeah, it's off like that. Okay, this is a good little tip to have as well. I'm going to put that over there. I'm going to grab those screws that I've just pulled out. So I know the longer ones here went in these two here, so I'm going to put them back in there. So when it's time to come back to putting it back together, you're not going to have, you know, different screws in the wrong places. And then I believe all these were the same size. So put that there, put that there. Put that there, and put that one there. So just like that. So see that? Cool. Put that nicely over there so it's not going to run away. So this part here, okay, so we've done the top. Okay, what we want to do is pull out this whole bit here, and it goes all the way to the back there. So what I'm going to do now is remove this screw, that screw, that screw, that screw, that screw, and that screw. So we'll do that now. 1, 2, put them over there. Grab that one there. 3, 4. You can see how handy it is to have this tool, because I tell you, if you're using just the Phillips head screwdriver, you know, just the manual labor one, you'll be here forever. Take that. Alright, so, oh yep, so that just fell off, so that's normal. So this actually goes into here, so if that falls out, it just goes into there. So pull it on out. Alright, the next step we're going to do is pull that off. So pull this off, just like that. Can unplug these wires. You hear the rubbish man out there. So pull that out and pull that out just like that. Okay, so we've got our, you see the gear down in there, so that's what we need to get to, and that's a matter of taking this off because it's connected to this bit here. So let's go do that now. So you want to remove that screw. No, that's right. Just thinking of something, but no. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, make sure you don't lose these screws. Okay, so what he also has done on this car here is actually broken the body posts, so gotta replace those as well. So pull that apart. You want to get down in here to remove this rear bumper. Okay, there's a lot of screws on here, so just like that. So put that up nicely over here. So now we've got that apart. What we want to do now is these A-arms here, the top A-arms here, so we'll need to remove these 2 screws here. Yep, a lot of screws. Okay, just 1, 2. Okay, so these are partially in there, so if I just pull on them like that, they just pop out. Put them nicely over there. Same with that one as well. Pull them, put them over there. So this should come apart now, just like that. Okay, so if you want to, you can remove these here. Okay, it just helps to sort of like get it at the rest of the case. Just like that. Just like that. And we want to pull these out. Okay, so just a quick note too, while you're in here, you might as well check everything else out as well, because the last thing you want to do is put it all back together and then the bearing goes in there because it was already dirty when you were changing it or something in there. So anyway, we'll carry on with this. That's right, we have to pull these off as well because it's connected. Alright, so let's pull that out, pop that over there, pull it out, pop it over there, yank that off, and we also have to do the rear ones as well, that one there. That one. Pop that over there. And again, like I said before, you want to just pop the screws back into where they came from. Just like that. Just so you know if there's any, screws lying around, you're trying to figure out where they came from. And this one here, just going to spin that over. And then I'm going to take these out. What I like to do is leave this upside down so I know how it goes back onto the whole diff housing. Take that off. When it wants to come off, come off. Just like that. So we want to put those aside. Put them over there, out of the way. Put the 2 screws over there. Okay, so you've got it here. So yeah, so when I actually see that, you can even hear it. So like I said before, when you hold it there and you hold it there and you can spin that, and it's, yep, that diff is absolutely knackerood. Okay, so what we're going to do is, to get into that, we need to remove these screws here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3 and 4. Okay, so with the other car that I had at the beginning of the video, it was moving but it was making a noise. Okay, I want to show you in this video where that noise is coming from. Right, that should do it. Yep, cool. So we're just gonna pry it open just with our muscles. So just like hold it just firmly in your hand like that, pull that up. Okay, so you've got your pins there, so you just got to remember where those come from. Okay, another good tip is taking a photo of it, of where everything is like this. You'll take a photo of here and that you know that it's going to go back in there just like so. So I want to pop that over there, pop that over there, pull that on out. So if I hold it there and I hold it there, see that? See how that side's not moving and that side is? That means the internal gears of this is gone. So you can see the external gears, fine. It's the internal gears that are gone. So just like that. So yeah, so that's gone. Put that over there, get our new one. So this is our new one here. So what I was talking about before, okay, the internal gears, you know how I said when I had one of those cars and the wheels were moving but I was making a whole lot of noise. So these gears in here, okay, it's these gears in here that you have to change. There's one that sits over here that's usually stripped, so in order to get to that you have to undo those, and this cap just pops off and then you'll see the gear sit in there, chuck it in, and then you'll be all good to go, because there's a set of gears that come with this car, and these are the gears, that long one there and the little one that sits over here. So that comes with the car, comes in a little plastic bag. So at the moment we're working on this one, but that's how you get into this compartments there. Okay, so I'm going to put that back there. I think it went that way. We'll soon see. And then I'll grab my new gear, which sat there, will sit there. Okay, so because it's plastic gears, you don't really need to put any lubricant on it. Well, I don't anyway, because it's just plastic. It's no point putting on any grease on there. You can if you want to, but it's not a biggie. And then you just put that there, line that up with that, line it up with the middle gear there, and then you'll push it down, sort of shimmy it down. Probably the ideal thing to do as well is probably clean all that up before you put it back together, which I'll do now actually, because yeah, it is quite dirty. Yeah, so what I want to do is I want to clean all this up. Okay, so again, how you pulled it apart is how you put it back together. Okay, it is a bit of a nightmare working on this car, but in my other videos I talked about using paint pens to, you know, for locations of different size screws, which helped out heaps, you know, for other people. But anyways, I'm gonna finish it up here, and then we're gonna cut back to the end where I've got everything back, you know, where it should be, and you know, everything working, and then I'll just go over what I done and what happened, yada yada yada. All right, so yeah, we'll cut back pretty soon. Bam, done. So what did we change in here? So we definitely had to change the diff gear. So this is the old one here. Okay, so if you need a new diff gear, so just take that number down. That's your part number, Xin-15-ZJ06. So the diff gear, yeah, definitely was gone. The internal gears on here had it, and it was missing 3 drive pins, the one from the front, the one that I couldn't get off, and the 2 on the back as well. So definitely clean it down before you install everything. So I got my air gun, and then, you know, just blasted everything out, all the sand. I don't think it was sand, I think it was more dirt than anything, but it's nice and clean in there now. And yeah, it's quite easy to put together, pull apart and put together once you've done it a couple of times. Just take notes when you pull it apart. So the screw, that screw, that screw, that one, that one, that one, and that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one, and this whole thing. So take off that, and this whole thing should lift up, and then you just move the car aside to gain easier access to all the front screws here. So it looked a bit difficult when I was doing it, purely because I'm trying to get it in focus of the camera. So bits and pieces you might see me, may not. I'm not too sure, because I've got the camera sitting there, and you know, I'm just trying to get as much as I can in the picture. So yeah, so it's turned on anyway. So if I lift this up, so we've got our wheel spinning now. And to access, you know, anything in the front, it's the same procedure as well. You know, you've got to remove all the screws, these four, and then the ones underneath, and which will bring this up. A lot of screws as well. So yeah, there you go, man. So like this video, tell your friends, your family, your uncles, aunties, and everyone else, and kids. Until next time, keep cool till after school. Ciao, ciao.